I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Hello and welcome to the Business Renovator. Can you really think and grow rich? We're going to find out with my guest today. And there's something about a success accelerator. So if you're watching us live, thank you for being here. This is an impromptu because there's a wonderful event that's coming up. We're going to talk about that so that you can consider joining in. And just for hanging out with us, you're going to be able to learn a bunch of things that my guest Troy is going to introduce you to. We'll share a couple of websites, give you a couple of links, and we'll go from there and have a conversation around that. But before I do that, I have a shameless plug for what I do. I'm going to put that up right now, and then we'll bring on Troy. Welcome back. Yeah, it's Business Growth Score. If you're a business owner and you would like to have a check-in where you're at, by all means, go to coachphil.ca and click on the link and have your analysis done. If you might be surprised, you might be right on target where you want to get to, or you might have another surprise where there's something missing. No credit cards required. It's complimentary. And if you would like to have a 20-minute conversation, again, no credit card required. Maybe we can help you answer a question, put you on the right path, help you take a step towards it. And if it's not me, I'm part of a group of other coaches that are certified by the great Brian Tracy within the Focal Point family. So it's there for you to choose if you would like to use it. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different because normally these are in the morning and not in the midday like this is. And we're going to be talking about something. It's based on the principles of Think and Grow Rich. And a fascinating individual, my guest is as well, but the fellow that's brought us together wrote a book called Can You Really Think and Grow Rich? So we're going to talk about that. And I did promise that there will be some value for you for being here, some links to learn some information on how you can really think and grow rich. So I'm going to bring up Troy right now. Troy, welcome to the show. Troy Chadwick. I don't have a bio, so maybe introduce yourself a little bit.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, Phil, for inviting me to come here and to serve you. I'm very grateful for that. And I can tell you, I love your energy. You're definitely a beautiful human being. So again, thank you for that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome. So anyways, my name is Troy R. Chadwick, and I've been studying this information for quite a while, and I've been coached and mentored by Bob Proctor. And I learned all about this wonderful, beautiful idea that, we can change our lives if we change how we think. And it's through that a lot of people have been able to be helped the same way that I was through the implementation of that. And so in terms of everything that I've learned, again, I want to share with you that it's been through the use of what's been shared to me through Bob Proctor, studying really great books, for instance, like Think and Grow Rich and some other things like that. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah. And Bob may not be with us on the physical plane, but he's still with us in the spiritual, right? Yeah. And his legacy lives on. It's just amazing.
Yes. Yeah, he's a beautiful man. And what's so interesting is he taught something which is absolutely amazing. I love it so much, is that, our spirits never really die. It's, what happened is there's a separation from the body. Having said this, when you really dig into that and understand that means, we're always here. It's just that when we separate, it's just that our physical bodies are not refined enough to see or experience that spiritual essence. Having said this, once you tap into that and realize that, then you realize that you can have a wonderful, beautiful life living with those people who have passed on into the next realm, if you'll just use your imagination, which is absolutely beautiful.
I think it's Bob who taught me the idea of that everything goes back around in a cycle, right? He talks about steam, water, you boil it, turns into steam turns into,
Yes.
right?
That's
And
right. Everything's always moving into form.
That's right. We're all energy, right?
That's right. We're all energy. And in terms of I guess you say the core energy, it's that thinking substance. Everything is always moving into form. In terms of moving into form, it leads, it goes from a thought to an idea to a thing. And in terms of the way that it moves, it's either creating or disintegrating. The whole point is you get to choose. And once you understand that everything takes shape from that thinking substance, everything in your life can change in a big, beautiful way.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say hi to a few people that popped in to see us today. Look at that. She's even saying to you, hello, Troy.
Hi. Hi, Cynthia. So great to see you.
And here's a friend and client of mine. And she also supports me.
Hi, Carla. Wow, this is great.
And here's somebody you know.
Hey, Tammy. So good to see you. Tammy Lee Rose, my amazing assistant. Yeah, she's definitely amazing. A powerhouse.
You know what she was doing? Because we're going to talk about some of how we got connected. Why are you and I on this platform today? Mm-hmm. The common thread is what we're kind of talking about here. But there's something that we're going to introduce to the people that are watching us that's coming up in September. Mm-hmm. And because of Ramy writing his book and sharing his greatness, and for you getting connected with him and running the Saturday calls, it's been amazing. Absolutely amazing. Just going back and learning and hearing it from somebody who is living the principles like yourself and like Ramy. Mm-hmm. I don't want to steal your thunder.
Well, no, I absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything that you've said, and I accept it with gratitude.
It's just, who knows what's going to come out of the day. This was impromptu as of yesterday. And we just thought we're both excited about what's coming up in September for everybody and anybody to be able to be part of an experiment with really, is there any risk in it?
Of course, there's always risk. Life is risky.
Oh, it's
every one of us is going to die. See, but having said this, it's only those who take risks that get to reap the rewards. And that's the thing that the overwhelming majority of people don't understand. They stay in their comfort zone. They don't understand that they've got to get out of their comfort zone and go into that discomfort zone in order to grow. Right. And that's what life is all about. It's about growth. It's about moving forward. And I got news for you. And this goes for everyone. I had to learn this the hard way. If you're unwilling to allow yourself to go into that discomfort zone, then you're just going to be accepting that right now is all you're ever going to be. When I first heard that from Bob Briggs, oh my gosh, that just put insert knife and turn. You have to allow yourself to be afraid, but be okay with it. I saw a little video. It was a little 10-second snippet from Tom Cruise, and someone asked him, "How come you don't have any fear?" And then he looked and he says, "What are you talking about? I have fear. I'm just okay with it."
Yeah.
And that's beautiful.
There's a whole bunch of different ways you could use the acronym of FEAR. Face everything and run. Yeah. Or actually fear everything and run, and face everything and rise. I like those two. There's probably others. Oh, fantasize experience appearing real. That's another one.
Yeah.
And it's like you said earlier, it's all about choice. How do you choose to define or see whatever that is that's showing up in your experience? And then what are you going to do with that data?
Yeah. So in terms of that, by the way, before we go back with regards to answering that, one of the things that I've learned, and I love this, again, I have to credit Bob Proctor for leading me into understanding this, is understanding that emotions, what you feel, whether it's fear, faith, happiness, joy, jealousy, whatever it is, see, they're nothing more than feedback. If you look at emotions, for instance, emotions are effects that turn into causes. Now, I know that might sound confusing, but if you really think of in terms of fear, for instance, fear is an emotion that it stops most people. See, it's a cause. Having said this, when you understand that the fear is an effect, in other words, something's causing the fear, it helps people. It'll help you to make incredible transitions into your life. Again, the big point is to make sure that when you are looking at your emotions, whatever they are, realizing that they are feedback. And the cause of the emotion that you're happening is solely because of how you're thinking. Now, in terms of fear, the only reason why fear happens is solely because of worry and doubt. And, that just understanding that all by itself has enabled me to be okay with fear when it happens, when I'm experiencing going through a change in my life. And what's really interesting, Ramy, in terms of this, he recognizes it. He has things that hit him, but he doesn't allow it to control him. He understands the laws. He understands that, you get more of whatever you give attention to. So he accepts whatever's there, and then he makes a decision to act on how he would love things to be. And I'm learning that a lot from him. That's automatic in him. It's not even something he thinks about anymore because it's a habit. Amazing.
I'm just consuming that because I like what you're saying, and I believe what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing though from you in a different way is just a wonderful thing. A wonderful thing. I have this card I had made up called
Wonderful. I love that.
Familiar with that? Do you know where that came from?
No, where did it come from?
Leland Val van de Wal.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about him. I love Leland. Oh my gosh.
And the U is like that instead of an O, because he's representing you are unique and you are wonderful. So are you and you and you and you, everybody.
That's beautiful. Wonderful is a magnificent word.
It is.
And what's interesting is, you could be going through a situation, and this ties into understanding that, your reality has nothing to do with the facts. It has to do with the meanings that you give the facts, your opinion. And you can look at things, and if you just give it the meaning, even though it may be something that's shitty that you don't like, you can actually look at it and say, well, isn't that wonderful? You could use that word. And if you'll just latch onto it, what'll start happening, because that's the idea that you've embedded into whatever that is, you'll start seeing wonderful things. And that's a powerful thing. You think from your ideas, and the more you accept words like wonderful or that's great or whatever, another one is that's good, the more you'll see that in your life.
I'm trying to remember the author who came up with this. He's passed. He was a motivational speaker of the extraordinary kind. And I think it's Keith Harrell was his name. People ask him how he's doing. He says, "I'm super fantastic."
Yeah, I love that.
It's brilliant, right? He was living in Atlanta one time, and I've never been there, but I've heard the traffic there is like a parking lot going really, really slow. And so instead of getting uptight and anxious and mad and honking the horn and all that kind of stuff, he would put on an audio, and he had a really good sense of humor. And he'd be listening to something, he's laughing, and somebody's saying, "Hey, that sounds pretty good. Turn it up. Who are you listening to? I'm listening to myself."
That's great.
Just,
isn't that wonderful? I mean, really, if you think in terms of your greatest power, there's a wonderful book written by J. Martin Cohey called Your Greatest Power. Your greatest power is your ability to choose your thoughts, to accept or reject. And what you said right there is so magnificent, because, we get to choose. You get to choose what you're going to say about anything. You get to choose what things mean. And if you would just form the habit, and a lot of people, when I say you would just, because a lot of people don't understand that they can form new habits, and that habits are formed through repetition. If you would just choose to think that way and see things that way, that's what starts to happen in your life. And to me, that's been one of the greatest personal discoveries for me through this whole growth that I've experienced from what I've learned from Bob and many other really great thought leaders as well.
You just remind me of a quote, and I can't remember who to give credit to. So whoever it is, it's theirs, it's not mine. But I'll share the nugget, because it says people create habits create futures. Yeah.
That's a wonderful, beautiful statement. People form habits form futures. That where that came from for me was this article, The Common Denominator of Success. And that is a wonderful, wonderful essay to read, because it's true. If you don't change your habits, your life will not change. People form habits form futures. Dr. Albert Ian Gray is who wrote that. And I could send that over to you.
That'd be great.
It's amazing. It's so good. To me, when you read that, and especially when you use it, that's the most important part. It's one thing to gather the knowledge. Nothing changes when you gather knowledge. The only way things change is when you implement that knowledge. And most people don't implement. which is why most people never succeed at the level that they would love to succeed. But in that essay, The Common Denominator of Success, he points out how successful people are successful because they do the things they need to do in order to achieve the result they want. In other words, they do things to please the result.
Mhm.
But then unsuccessful people, they don't live that way. They don't think in terms of doing things to please the result. They do things to please their circumstances, to please what's normal to them. But then he points out something beautiful in terms of the things that successful people do. And the question lies in understanding that successful people do those things, but do they like to do those things? And the answer is no. They don't like to do the things that they need to do in order to, achieve that result, the same way that unsuccessful people don't like to do them. Having said this, the reason why they do it is because they tap into the reason for doing it, and they go about taking that action, which then yields them the success that they live. And
Here's
so
another.
anyways, that article is incredible. I highly recommend that everybody study that. It's The Common Denominator of Success by Dr. Albert Ian Gray.
I look forward to it. You just remind me of another Val quote. See if I can remember it. You only have to do what you don't want to until you don't have to anymore.
Yes.
Powerful.
Oh, I love that you're sharing Leland Val Vanderwall stuff. It's so good. You know that he's the one that introduced to Bob the stick figure,
Yeah,
the stick
absolutely.
person. Yeah, and he got that from another guy,
Dr.
Thurman Fleet.
out of Texas.
Yeah, Thurman Fleet.
Chiropractor.
Yeah. So it's really cool. You see my pigs in the background over there. I actually have a stick person there. To me, it's the most valuable idea that I've ever engaged with that helps me to organize my mind. It's amazing.
I was fortunate enough to be able to hang out with Val in a couple of courses.
Mm-hmm.
I was not open enough at that time
Mm-hmm.
to consume and assimilate everything you say. You were saying earlier, I say it differently, but you said the same thing. Unapplied knowledge is a waste of time.
Yeah.
A book unread might as well not be bought, right? So It's taking that data, that information, and making it our own and sharing with the world, or sharing with the people and just being different, because life is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
And
I would go a little bit deeper with regards to that. And I love that you brought this into this conversation because this is beautiful. I would go a step further. Instead of a book unread is unused, a book unused in terms of the information is useless. And this is important because, again, I run into a lot of people. For instance, they'll read Ramy's book, Can You Really Think and Grow Rich? They'll breeze through it. This is such a simple book to read,
that
right?
book?
Yeah, this book right here, right? But then what will happen is because people have formed the habit of just collecting information, they'll read it and they'll say something like this, I know it, not understanding that what you know doesn't mean jack shit.
Right.
What you know doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you do, and what you do leads to what you understand. The only way you can increase your understanding is through the doing, through the application.
Yeah,
and this is a common thing that, Raymond talks about. A lot of people will say, I read it. Okay, that's fine. You read it. Now, what are you doing about it? But most people, they'll go on to one book, and then they'll go on to another book, and then they'll go on to another book. And see, that's just a matter of collecting information. And you will find, and I found through speaking with lots and lots of people that those who do that, they just nothing ever changes for them. Nothing ever changes because all they do is just gather information. Again, what's really cool, and I learned this from Bob. You are better off, rather than going through a book or and going from another book to another book, is just pick out one little paragraph that has a lot of, I guess you'd say, power in it if it's used, and just study that one paragraph for like 2 weeks, and then use it in your mind. You'll get way more out of that. You will grow much faster studying that way than you will going through books.
Yeah, absolutely. Big fan of that.
Yeah.
I do read the Think and Grow Rich quite a lot, not as much as Bob or Ramy does, but I have other books that I devour that same way. And one of the authors, he's passed too, was in the Seattle area, and many things that he's taught me and I've actually assimilated, and I can almost repeat his whole teaching automatically without thinking, and it's because I've invested the time and effort, not because I have to. because
Mhm.
I wanted to. And as a result of that, the feedback I'm getting from myself for the results I get, but also the people I get to work with, the things that
Mhm.
they're getting out of it, it's just amazing because we're sharing our point of view of what we've understood and with other people to get them to take what makes sense to them. And
Mhm.
one of the things that Lou Tice said was we act not in accordance as the truth is, but how how we perceive it to be.
That's right.
Right. So everything is about a filter thing that we have, and once we understand that and take what you we're hearing from Bob and what we're going to learn from Ramy and anybody who is getting this on the recording, we're going to share a link eventually to a wonderful gift. All the work that Troy has done to walk us through this wonderful book, and even Ramy, he's really amazed at how you do this, and he's right. You are darn good at this. We're going to point people into a place where they can go and listen to you dissect the book and add your insights to what it's all about. And then Ramy joins you, and you guys have a dialogue. And then sometimes we have questions. Right? It's pretty
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah. It's fun, playful learning, and I love it. It's amazing. When you're in that kind of environment, you know what starts to happen? Your creativity goes through the roof. You're inspired. You do more than you've ever done.
Yeah.
And I can say that with regards to Ramy 100%. You know, it's interesting. I've never been as inspired as I am right now as I am with regards to when I'm around him. And it's fascinating. I find it quite interesting, because, you know, he truly does inspire in a beautiful way, and it comes straight from the heart.
What does Proctor say about vibration?
Vibration, that's feeling. Feeling is the conscious awareness of vibration. And this is important because that's one thing that I learned from Bob. You know, a lot of us, for instance, we've heard of The Secret, and we study the law of attraction. Law of attraction is everywhere. But thing is, in terms of that, The Secret was great, fantastic, but unfortunately, it led people to believe that all you had to do was think about it in order to happen. Well, it's not true. See, you have to have the right attitude in order to attract to you the right circumstances. And attitude is a combination of thoughts, feelings, and actions. Now, notice how I emphasize feelings.
Yeah.
And the reason why that's so important is because attraction is dependent on something else. And what attraction is dependent on is vibration, it's feeling. See, if you want to really get attraction or the law of attraction, I'm going to say this: don't study the law of attraction at all. What you've got to study is how to get you into the proper vibration so that those right things will come into your life. And you can look at it this way, and I love saying this: it's like attracts like. You know, we become what we think about most of the time. Paula Abdul is wrong. Opposites do not attract. Okay, it's like attracts like.
Yeah. Birds of a feather flock together.
That's right. That's right. Now, I mean, you can soak this in with regards to this wonderful, beautiful call. You and I wouldn't be talking right now if we weren't in harmony with each other.
Right.
Right. And the people who are listening to this call, those who are in harmony with it, see, there's an attraction, there's a force that draws, you know, both to each other. If we were here just sitting here just bitching about everyone and talking about bullshit stuff that doesn't matter, those people who like that will be coming into this call and say, yeah, but that's not what we are. That's not who we're being. And by the way, that's extremely important what I said there. And I learned that from Bob. When you are able to control the vibration you're in, which is being caused by how you think and how you use your higher mental faculties, which we can go deep into that as well, your imagination, perception, reason, will, memory, and intuition. See, when you are able to use those effectively to control how you feel, everything in your life changes. And then you're no longer a victim of circumstances, conditions, or results. And it's a beautiful way to live. It's such a beautiful way to live. That's how Ramy lives. He's built such powerful habits, you know, in terms of how he uses his imagination, perception, reason, will, memory, and intuition, that, you know, he doesn't even have to think about it anymore, because he's strengthened them so well that it's just, bam, it's automatic.
Well, one of the reasons I brought that up was not to get that great nugget of that's even better than why I brought it up. The reason I brought it up was for two reasons: was the energy that Ramy puts out and the energy that you put out on, like Cynthia said, I'll put it back up on Saturdays. I look forward to Saturday at noon my time, and I don't care if it's 2 hours or the 4 hours they've gone sometimes. I do not ever feel tired and worn out from hanging out listening.
That's
Never.
amazing.
So
That's so
vibration.
beautiful.
There was another vibration thing that happened to me. I was working in another part of I'm in Canada, so I was working in another part of the country, and we were in a high-rise building, and I was working for a tech company at the time, and there was this architectural piece of metal, and I'd heard the law of vibration.
Mhm.
And if you play a D note on a piano, and there's a piano in the same location, similar location, if the
Mhm.
sound can travel to the other piano will start to vibrate at the same
That's
note,
right.
the one that was started at.
Yes.
Well, I did something on this piece of metal. I didn't have a tuning for it. We were having we had a workshop or something going on. It was over the weekend, and I said, that sounds like a D. I think that's what I said. And then somebody came in with tuning forks, and it was a D. So we hit this big piece of metal. The vibration started the tuning fork going off. That's
Yeah.
what you have been telling us in a
Yeah.
different sort of way.
Then, that's so awesome that you're bringing this into play, because that's the way that everything works. And the sooner you tap into that, the sooner you tap into understanding that the feelings you have are nothing more than feedback for how you've been thinking, that you can change how you're feeling by changing how you're thinking. Oh my gosh, everything will change for you. Everything. I read this. One of my favorite authors is Robert Collier. I love Robert Collier, Secret of the Ages. Oh my gosh, all of you should go get that. It's amazing, incredible. And he brought up a lot in terms of understanding this at a very deep level. And what's interesting too is, going through reading that book, I'm fascinated about how almost everything that he writes is literally, how and what Bob Proctor taught. And I'm surprised that Bob really never talked about this guy. But having said this, he points out that, your outer world is a reflection of what's happening in your inner world.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful thing to think about. Your outer world, meaning the circumstances of your life. We're talking about, the results in your life, how much you earn, what you do for work, your relationships. We're talking about where you live, the car you drive, all of that stuff. See, that's your outer world. That's the physical. And that's a perfect reflection of what's happening in your inner world. And your inner world's a world of thought. Your inner world is completely immersed in a lot of automatic thought. And see, the sooner you understand that your outer world is a reflection of what's happening in your inner world, and simply by changing what's happening in your inner world, your outer world will change. Oh my gosh, it changes everything. And this is, by the way, this is why I love being around Ramy so much, because he's locked into that frequency of always winning, not only himself, but everybody else winning. He's always looking for the good. He's acting on the solution. He dreams big. And I'm going, wow, this is great, because now it's stirring a lot of that in me as well. And now look what's happening. A lot of really great things are happening.
Yeah, he also often talks about, you've got to make it good for the people that you've enrolled, that just jumped in and believed you. They've got to win first, then you can win second.
That's right.
Unlike the stereotypical way, it's if I win and you lose, then it's good. That's not what he's about.
Yeah.
That's not what
it's
not what I'm
terrible.
about.
This is really great that you brought this into play, because as we're building this event that's here, as I'm having these conversations with him, you can feel, it's just amazing. He doesn't even have to speak that much, but you can feel how everything is about the people who are coming. Everything is about helping them to win, not about making the event all snazzy and all really nice and wonderful. It is going to be nice and beautiful, but it's about, we need to make sure that they win, that everybody wins first before anything else happens. Yeah, that's something that Tammy wrote. Who wins if I win? He's always looking in terms of that. And I love that. That's a beautiful philosophy to live by.
I'm glad that she's helping us participate in this. She got the book Secret of the Ages, and now this. So Thank you, Tammy. You know what else she did for me? Sometimes I couldn't sit at a computer and watch the Saturdays, but I was on my phone in my car somewhere getting the feed, but I couldn't save the text. So I asked her, and she supported me in my ability to consume this great information.
That's awesome. Yeah, she's really great at following through and taking care of stuff. Really, I'm so grateful for her help. She's amazing.
That's cool. I want to share something. I'm going to see if anybody recognizes this image, or see if I can bring it up. I got to actually share it first. I had it shared, but I must have turned it off. Hang on, guys and gals. Share the screen. I'm going to share this one. I wonder if
Ta-da!
anybody recognizes that. So this
Who's
is
that guy?
this is Troy. This is my guest. It's awesome. I just wanted to share this in case somebody wanted to get more of what you're all about. You have a mastermind,
Yeah.
and you do a really good job at doing. I think what you do in this, you can give yourself a plug,
Mhm.
but I think what you do in this is what you've done for Ramy and us that have participated in the
Mhm.
Facebook group, which is on Zoom, typically on Saturdays. You've done a really good job there. Even Ramy has said that he really likes the way you talk about his book. He said he couldn't do it as good as you do.
Wow. Yeah. I say that I say this with gratitude. I graciously accept that.
So we're just going to share a little bit here. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I forgot to do the one thing I said I would do. Hang on. Look,
Okay.
it's such an amateur. You think I'd never done this before, but it's not. I have. Hang on. Hang on. Where did they go?
I love this.
There, this is what I was trying to get. It's easier to see that address
Yeah.
than the little tiny one at the top of the screen. So if people are interested in this is resonating, vibrating with them, this is where they need to go to troyrchadwick.com.
Yeah. Make sure you put a www before that, though. There's something up with the URL distribution, and I haven't figured that out. But make sure you put www.troyrchadwick.com there if you want to.
But you'll be able to go and take your time and jump in and learn and consume, and then decide what you want to do with Troy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, I didn't know you were going to do this, so thank you very much, because I just want to talk about you and how amazing you are. So, anyways, thank you so much for this.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. There's another site up here. I have this on another monitor, so we can go here. This is the Facebook group, right?
Yeah.
We can share with everybody. Let's get rid of
Yeah.
that. Where it's called "Can You Really Think and Grow Rich?" And everybody's welcome to come and join this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a wonderful community. I can tell you the heart is fantastic there. And in terms of everything that's there, it's always about education, about learning. I will tell you this, no spamming anybody. Okay. You got to make sure that we keep it integral with regards to learning the principles, right? And by the way, we do cut out, unfortunately, there's some people who do that. We do it with love, but we want to make sure that it's there for educational purposes to help you. You got to remember, Ramy's doing this out of the kindness of his heart.
Yeah.
And he really wants to help people in a very big way. So he wants to make sure that everything is focused in terms of helping people to understand these principles and, most importantly, use them. Absolutely use them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a place that's a community and almost like a family to a
Yes.
certain degree.
It is a family. Yeah.
And not selling and pitching. It's all about,
Yeah.
like you said, sharing and education.
That's right.
So if you have a nugget or a quote, absolutely share that, right? Or
Yeah.
if there's something you've gotten out of, matter of fact, somebody was, and I forget now, wish I could remember who it was, but they were talking about the ultimate. I ended up downloading it's 14 hours off an Audible book of Napoleon Hill's, but it's a accumulation of a lot of the Napoleon Hill teachings in his voice. It's him doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's good. Those videos, those audios are fantastic. Absolutely amazing.
So I can just bring us back. I'm saving the best for last. Maybe you're pretty good too.
You're so fun. That's amazing. You're amazing.
Well, no, you're amazing. We sound like those two cartoon guys. No, after you. No,
That's funny.
But I'd rather be that way instead of you're the other side of that spectrum.
Yeah.
Here's a vote of appreciation.
Oh, Arrow. Oh, wow. Look at that. It's Jenny. Oriole on this side, Jenny on the other side. Amazing.
There's a link here. This is where you can go to where that Facebook site is. Mm-hmm. If you go search on Facebook under groups, Can You Really Think and Grow Rich? You should find it. But if you can't, just follow that. Thanks, Tammy. Is it time to unveil and bring up?
Well, soon in just a minute. But I want to help people to see something first.
Sure.
This is so important. This is probably one of the most important things for anyone to take a hold of. And this has to do with delivering change. Now, and why I'm bringing this up is because, if you think in terms of someone who is successful, that's living the life that you would love to live, there's a big question that comes into play, which the overwhelming majority of us ask. And it ties to, well, I want to live that way. I want that lifestyle. I want that type of success. I want that type of happiness. But unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of us have been conditioned to say something like this. Well, if I want to live that way, I have to do what they're doing. Now, really soak in what I'm saying there, because that's the thought process that most people have. And by the way, yes, what you do is important. Having said this, if you just go about doing what they're doing, and if you don't have the reasons for why they're doing it behind it, I have news for you. It's not going to work. And it doesn't work that way. And the reason why is because every single action that we take is motivated by feeling. Now, really pay close attention to this, my friends. This is probably, again, one of the most important things for you to understand. And I actually got this from Robert Collier in Secret of the Ages. See, it's not what a person does that you should emulate. What you've got to emulate is what causes them to do the things they do. And what causes an individual to do what they do is how they feel, and how they feel is determined by how they think. Now, just grasp on that for just a moment. See, it's not what a person does that you should emulate. It's how they think, and how an individual thinks is rooted from what they believe to be true and the habits they have. It's based from what their mindset is. And a lot of people talk about mindset. It's out there everywhere in the personal development world. I mean, how many of you have heard, you got to have a powerful mindset, right? And then we go about our lives, and then we remind ourselves to think positively. We remind ourselves to move into positive action, not understanding that if we have to remind ourselves to think positively and to do positive things, that means it's not set in our mind. Think about that for just a moment. If you have to remind yourself that you're good, that means it's not in your mindset. See, what's set in your mind are your beliefs and habits. And it's your beliefs and habits that cause you to act automatically in your life. And right there is really how you can get anything you want. And Ramy talks about this quite frequently. So many people ask him, well, what should I do? What should I do? And he says, don't ask me, what should I do? What you've got to pay attention to is how I'm thinking, what I believe to be true. What are my habits? Habits not meaning the actions. I'm talking about habitual thoughts. And see, right there is really how you're going to get anything you want. See, again, I want to emphasize this, because this is something that should be shared everywhere. That's what you got to do, which is why, for instance, I love working with Ramy so much, is because I recognize, oh my gosh, his beliefs are huge. And in terms of the habits that he has, they're just spot on. He doesn't even think, it's just boom, boom, boom. It happens automatically. And this ties into that wonderful, beautiful essay that we talked about from Dr. Albert Ian Gray, The Common Denominator of Success. So anyways, I wanted to bring that into play because it has everything to do with whether or not you're going to achieve the success that you want in any area of your life. See, it's the mindset that's got to be consented to and adopted to. And then from there, you know what happens? You discover how. The how shows up right in front of you.
Absolutely. One of my mentors along the way, Lou Tice, really dumbed it down for me and everybody else. He took complicated psychological language and put it into stuff that the average Joe, average Phil could do. So if you know what you want and why you want it, and stifle the how, and move forward with confidence, action, and stay. And I picked it up from you the other day because somebody in the chat was talking about below the line thinking, because they were thinking about going to the event, but they were trying to get their discounting, trying to negotiate with somebody, and that's not how Ramy thinks. And you said you need to have committed decision. I've shared that with 3 coaches this week, and they're going, oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, you just need to decide. What once you decide, you know what happens once you decide? I love bringing in this example. Okay, this is one of my funnest things to share with people. But once you decide, the how shows up. And it feels like things just start happening automatically. Would you like to hear a fun demonstration about how when you decide, things just automatically happen?
Absolutely.
Okay, this is so ridiculously simple. Okay, what's the last meal that you bought for yourself?
Last meal?
Yeah, what's the last meal that you bought for yourself?
I bought a breakfast wrap.
Okay, a breakfast
wrap, like a Enchilada.
Okay, breakfast enchilada. Okay, now check this out. Let's rewind the clock about maybe a half hour or so, whatever, maybe an hour. And then before that time, what was happening in your body?
Before that?
I'm hungry, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you wanted food. Now
Yeah.
remember, the
Yeah.
reason why we want things is because we don't have them, right? We need something to be fulfilled, correct? So you were in want,
Right.
correct? And then what did you start doing from there? I want food. What started to happen in your mind?
Looking at the options, I could make it myself. I could go
Yeah.
drive somewhere. I don't, looking all the logistics of getting it. Oh, I'd have to clean the dishes if I cook
Yeah.
it myself. I could just go down the street to the restaurant. Oh, and on the restaurant, what would I do? That's
Okay, so you started to think about ideas
Mhm.
about what to eat, and then you started to pull into your mind, or I should say, bring into the present, what was most pleasurable for you recently, whether it's making it or buying it or getting it, correct?
Yep.
And then what did you do?
I justified my decision logically because I went to a restaurant to get the breakfast wrap because
Uh-huh.
it would save me time. I wouldn't have to do the dishes, and that
Yeah.
was the logical. That was not emotional.
Yeah,
And
but the
then
whole thing is, though, you said something important.
okay,
You made a decision.
yes, I made a decision.
Now,
Yes, I
now
made,
think about that. Very simple. See, before you're in want, and then you started to think within your mind, okay, what do I want to eat? Blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, you know what? That's it right there. You made a decision, and it wasn't a wishy-washy decision. It was a committed decision, correct?
correct.
Now, isn't it interesting? Pay close attention to this. I love this. Isn't it interesting that once you made that decision, boom, it was like autopilot.
Yep.
You just went there. Next thing you know is you're eating it. See, we do this every day. Every single one of us, we don't even realize that we're doing it. And in terms of you receiving the change that you would love to experience in your life, whether it's with your finances, a career, relationships, or anything, the only thing that's in the way is you not making a decision that it's going to happen. And it's really that way. Everything is delivered the same. Once you make a committed decision, the house shows up. And then it just starts to happen.
I agree with everything you say there, and I want to make sure that people understand what you said. You can decide.
Yeah. Just decide.
What committed decision? Because you can
It's got
decide if you're not committed. When you
Yeah.
get resistance, oh yeah, no, I can't do that. That
Yeah.
other voice will talk you out of it. Committed. I love that.
Yeah. But that other voice is really not you, though. That voice is what you're used to.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, for instance, I love when I speak with people and stuff, they'll say, I'm in the way, I'm stopping myself. No, you're not. You know, I know a lot of people are saying that in the personal development world, but really your true self would never stop you. And even then, a lot of people would say, oh, there's that self-sabotage. There's no such thing as self-sabotage. It doesn't exist. And the way that I can point this out to you, because it has to do, again, with making a decision and deciding that that's how you want your life to be. See, if you think in terms of your true self is you're this magnificent, wonderful, creative being. See, you're not a human being. We've been conditioned to think that we're human beings, but we're really not.
Hmm.
We're creative beings. We're thought evolved beings. We're a body with a spirit, or not a spirit with a body. In terms of our spirit, it's for expansion, full expression. We have embedded within us this eternal dissatisfaction, okay, that's yearning for growth, for freedom. Now think about that. That's your true self. And there's no way that your true self would ever sabotage or stop you to do anything. So if yourself is not stopping you, then what's stopping you? What's stopping you is what's in you in terms of your beliefs and your habits. And those aren't you. That's just what you've agreed to.
Psychologists might give it a label and call it your self-concept.
Yeah,
So
your self-concept, your ego.
Yeah, who you perceive yourself to be.
Yeah, Neville Goddard talks about this a lot. You know, the concept that you consent to as true is what gets delivered in the outside world. If you don't believe yourself to be who you would love to be, then it's not going to take place in the outer world.
So in your world, when you're working with people, you're a very astute individual in this space. You hear people look on the outside, the external. When this changes, I'll get better. When that changes, I'll get better.
Yeah.
The locus of control.
Yeah. That's just a bad habit of thinking from the outside in.
Yeah.
And they're constantly living in the future. You've got to live from the future, not in the future. and you got to forget your past. But see, those people who say that don't understand that tomorrow never comes. They don't understand that whenever they say what if, whatever, they're literally placing their happiness on something that never will ever come to you, because happiness belongs to the present. I'll be happy when, it'll be great when. See, you got to make a decision that that's how you want it to be now, and live from that place now. And then from there, all the plots, plans, dramas, and situations will unfold right before your eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Locus of control. Is it external?
And that's just a habit. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Those of you who are, maybe you're stuck in that pattern of thinking from the outside in. If that's happening with you, there's not. I want to let you know something. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay,
No.
That's just a habit. That's just a habit, and habits can be changed. What's been planted there can be replaced. It can be removed. You can plant new habits, new beliefs, and if you'll just be diligent in taking care of that, it'll grow. I mean, think about, like, for instance, what the fourfold order of the universe is what James Allen says. It's seed, plant, blossom, fruit, sowing and reaping, cause and effect. Change the cause, the effect will change.
Yeah. Jim Rohn says the seasons, right? There's 4 of them. You can't have a harvest before you've planted the seed, and you can't have a fruitful harvest if you haven't tended the seed. So doing what you're saying, control what you're thinking about.
The thoughts are the causes, the effects are the results.
Exactly.
I mean, you can actually have a lot of fun with this, and it ties into, I said thoughts are the causes, the effects are the results. Everything happens twice.
Yep.
First in the mind, second in its physical form. And one of the funnest examples I love to use about this is just look in your room right now and just name 2 things that are in the room that you're in right now that were made. 2 things. There's 3 or 4. I'm looking at my camera, my lights, my microphone. I go, okay, book. 100% of these things were in someone's imagination first before they became the material thing.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing with regards to your results. Everything is delivered the same. It starts from the mind. Everything owes its origin to mind. There's only one creative power in the universe, and that's thought energy, and you have access to an infinite amount of it.
Yes, every acorn has the energy for life to be the oak tree that it aspires to be, but it needs a few other things added into it.
It needs to be planted.
Yeah.
It needs to be planted. It needs to be nourished.
Kind of what we need to do with our thoughts, right? Make a decision, commit a decision, and stick to it. And I don't know if it was Proctor who said it, but if you take a young person and they aren't trying to understand how something grows, and they go and they plant seeds. I was this young person. I did this once. So I planted mustard seeds, and they popped up with the green leaves. I wanted to see what they look like. Well, once you've done that, the growth stops.
That's
so
right.
You've got to hang in there, nurture, and look after the seed thought or the seed, so it can give you the bounty that you're looking for.
Yeah. There's a beautiful saying that came from Robert Collier. Again, I refer to him a lot because I love the way he writes. I love how he thinks. A lot of people will destroy what they planted with worry and doubt. And you can't do that. So you've got to be patient, and you've got to wait as one who understands while you're working. I mean, it's kind of fun. You can look at it this way. It's like, let's say you and I were hanging out, and then you come over here to my house, and then I plant corn in my backyard, and you saw me do it correctly. It's a nice soil. And then I planted it, and then you go home, and then I call you back, and we're having this conversation, and I say, Phil, I go, something's wrong. Nothing's happening. What are you going to say to me? Be patient, Troy.
That's right.
You say be patient, right? And then I go, well, I'm just going to go see what happens. You can say, no, don't do that. Just keep watering it and then forget about it.
Yeah.
Right. And then let's say like it comes out of the ground, and then now it's seed. Now it's a plant. Right. And it goes, but there's no corn. Right. Phil, there's no corn. What's going on? What are you going to say to me?
Be patient.
Be patient. Don't worry about it. It's going to come. Right. Okay. So check this out. So now the corn comes up. And then all of a sudden we taste the corn, and then I call you up and I say, oh yeah, I got the corn. And then what if I were to call you and say, Phil, I'm upset. And you say, why? Why are you upset? Because I have this corn. He goes, well, wait, that's fantastic. You got corn, but I didn't want corn. I wanted beans. What are you going to say?
They're a little crazy thinking that they're going to get beans out of a corn seed.
Yeah, you should have planted beans, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with life, right?
Yeah.
You understand seed, plant, blossom, fruits, fourfold order of the universe. If you want to live an extraordinary life like what Ramy's living, you've got to plant those seeds. You've got to nourish those seeds. And you're not going to live an extraordinary life by thinking substandard thoughts.
And that's a really good segue to talk about one of the reasons why we're here is you've got to nurture those seed thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're going to talk about, I can't decide what I should show I'm going to show the YouTube.
Want me to show them on the screen? So it's like side by side with me on that?
I could do that. Watch
Okay.
this. Add to the stream, and we're going to do it.
I could just do it straight in my screen right here on my screen.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Or you could do it that way. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
So
yeah.
this is the YouTube community platform that
Yeah.
you guys created and published recently. So what I like about this is all of the episodes that I hung out with you guys on a Saturday, and Tammy did sent me some emails with chats because I couldn't save them. All of those conversations are on YouTube here. And there was 13 chapters and 2 bonus. And in 2 bonuses, what we want to help get you to understand. In the bonuses, an offer to be able to nurture what we're talking about, what Troy's talking about here, so that you can be in a group of people thinking like and vibrating at a similar level or higher because of the power that comes from the multiplier of the minds.
Yes.
I'm going to get you to tell more about it. And I do have another page, which is the Success Accelerator as well.
All right. Awesome. So in terms of these calls, all of you, this is so important. Yes, there's wonderful knowledge that's there. And the thing I want to embed within you is understanding that knowledge is not power. See, all of this knowledge is great. It can become power because that's what it really is. Knowledge is just potential power. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because these calls right here, if you use them, will help you to make the changes that you're seeking. You know what the best part is? It's available here for free for you.
Yeah, free.
Think about this. You have here in these calls deep explanations about how Ramy thinks. Now, remember what I shared with you. It's not what a person does that you should emulate. It's how they think. And within these calls, we dive deep into the mindset of Ramy. And throughout these calls, I break them down so they're very simple to understand. But the whole point is you will get a lot out of these calls if you'll just continue to replay them again, and then use them again and replay them and use them again. Remember, it's through the principle of autosuggestion that you shift your faith. In other words, your belief changes. And see, that's the thing that the overwhelming majority of people won't do. But you're not like most people, okay? All of you who are listening, you're not like most people. So what I'm going to recommend for you to do is reuse this. You don't need another program out there. You don't need all this stuff. What you need to do is to use what you know, to apply what you know. And in terms of all of these calls, you have a lot here. And Ramy's actually said this, frequently. You know what? If you'll just go into these calls and just replay them and listen to them and study, can you really think and grow rich alongside of Think and Grow Rich, and use them as companions? Oh my gosh, you'll receive lots of changes. And use them. I mean, there's a wealth there. Think about this. That's a billionaire's mindset that's in these calls.
Mm-hmm.
Where else are you going to find this, my friends? Where it's there and it's freely given to you so that you can use it in your life.
And it's so heartfelt.
Use this. Yeah.
From him.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So absolutely go get the book and go use it as a study companion. So if we copy how Ramy thinks, we can change how we think at a higher level. That's correct. Remember, you've got to emulate the mindset of the individual, what they believe to be true and the habits they have. And then from there, the how shows up.
Yep.
And it's beautiful.
I'm going to bring up the other one. This is where they could hang out.
Yeah. All right. So here we got the Success Accelerator. Now, earlier, I was talking about how, it's important if you want to live a successful life the way that somebody else is living, you've got to consent to how they think. It's kind of like, for instance, baseball. If you want to learn how to play baseball really great, you're not going to learn it by learning from someone who's a master chef, unless they played baseball and did really well at it. The whole point is the best way for you to learn about something is to learn from someone who's already done it in an exceptional way that's in harmony with how you would love to live your life, which leads to this wonderful, beautiful opportunity here. Success Accelerator is a magnificent opportunity for you not only to learn about how to engage with the right type of mindset in your mind and establish that within you, but also to engage with something practical. Because most events that are out there, you just go to an event and then you teach and then they learn, and then from there it just stops. Not here. There's nothing that's been done like this anywhere that I know of and all whatsoever. And what makes this different, first of all, is that Ramy's the one who's leading it. He's sharing with everyone, freely how he thinks. And then in terms of the practicality, what's going to happen is that at this event, a brand new company is going to be created. Now really think about this. It's happening September 8th through 10th. A brand new company is being created, of which all of the money, minus the expenses, of which we're keeping down to a minimum, all of the money from the tickets, minus the expenses, is going to go directly into the company as an investment. Now think about that. There's no monetary cash prize for anything like this. All of the money is going into the event. It's going into this new business. Now, what's really awesome about this, on top of that, is that one person is going to win 50% of the shares of the Series A units in the LLC created for this company based from the idea that they come up with. Now, this is important because, the idea's got to have merit. It's got to be something that you can grow from, something that can actually serve a lot of people. And so that business is going to be chosen by Ramy and a small panel. And then it's going to be announced in terms of the winner. The winner is going to be announced on Saturday. Now, for those of you, say like you buy a ticket, right? Let's say there's 1,000 people who are there. There's 1,000 tickets. You got to understand 1,000 tickets, of which the cost of the event is $1,000. That's $1 million. $1 million minus the expenses goes into the event. Let's say the cost of the event is $50,000. That's $950,000 that goes directly into the company, of which one person will win 50% of the Series A units of the LLC. And then everyone else, to say that there's 999 that have bought tickets for that, 999 will share 40% of the company shares. It'll be distributed evenly based off of what tickets are purchased. And then 10% is going to be donated to the Napoleon Hill Foundation. Now think about that. Where are you going to find that anywhere? Have any of you tried to go and raise capital somewhere? Well, here's going to be a situation where there's going to be practical use of this, of which, if you could scroll down just a little bit more, Ramy's going to continue to be in that process. You're going to be able to see the business grow in meetings, in calls. And then on top of that, you can even have the opportunity to be part of the business itself. Literally, someone's going to be able to quit their job at this business and literally hire people at this event to work in the company. And then everyone who bought a ticket will have access to the board meetings and watch the whole entire process as the company is moving throughout the years. Now think about that. That's amazing. That's incredible. This doesn't exist anywhere. So again, think about this opportunity. You're going to be learning from someone how to think. And then on top of that, there's going to be something that's practical there, of which everyone can win beautifully and use this information. And then in terms of the control of the whole entire thing, Ramy's in control of it in terms of making sure that everybody wins first, because that's how he operates. If you study his book, you'll find that that's his number one modus operandi. That's the way he operates. He always puts the people first. And I think I did talk about this earlier in this call. When we're working on this event, it's wonderful to see how he's always looking out for you. If you're coming to this event, it's always about you first. It's not about the event itself. It's about helping you to win. All right. So anyways, this is what's so awesome about this. I'm really super excited about it. It's going to be amazing, incredible. There's additional thing that you can take advantage of, which is beautiful. And that is this right here, rewards for the decisive. Now I'm going to read this to you. All of you pay close attention to this, because remember, Ramy he's highly successful. He's in the Forbes 400, one of 400 in the world. And here he's talking about the engagement of principles. Now I'm going to read this to you. Those individuals who recognize the significance of making timely decisions and taking prompt action as identified by Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich will be rewarded with an additional complimentary ticket for each ticket purchased, provided the purchase is made on or before July 31st. Now, really think about that. $1,000 ticket. If you purchase the ticket before the 31st, you get another ticket that gives you an additional share in the LLC if your idea is not chosen. Now think about that. That's amazing. 2 for 1. You can, and there's no limit to how many tickets you can buy. You buy 5, you'll get 10. That means you'll have 10 shares in the company if your idea is not chosen. And that's beautiful. So again, for each ticket purchased during this period, 1 additional ticket will be provided free of charge. These acquired tickets shall entitle the ticket holder to the specified allocations of the Series A units in the limited liability company that's established, as limited in the share distribution section of the terms and conditions. And the terms and conditions are at the bottom, okay, if you go to the bottom of the page. Now, again, the opportunities here, and it's going to be amazing and beautiful. Here, I would love to read this part here. I love this because Ramy actually posted this in the Facebook group, and I thought it was so amazing to show from you where his heart is. And again, this represents why I love being around this guy so much. Our event is primarily focused on the education and aims to provide you with valuable insights and practical knowledge on starting and developing a business. We are forming a new LLC business as a live demonstration. You're all going to experience it during the event using the proceeds of tickets from the ticket sales. The purpose of this demonstration is to showcase in real time how to navigate the process of launching and growing a business successfully using the principles taught in Think and Grow Rich. Now, again, the practicality alone is worth way more than the cost of the ticket. It is crucial to emphasize, Ramy says, that while we will select one business to invest from the event, the primary objective is educational. And he goes to say, I want to ensure that everyone attending understands this clearly so that no one feels disappointed if their business is not chosen. We anticipate the turnout of 500 people, but remember, you can buy more tickets than what you're there. I just said 1,000 because I'm certain that there's lots of people who are going to buy more than one ticket. But having said this, we're going to actually cap the attendance to 500 people. And it's important to remember that this event is just one part of your entrepreneurial journey. Following the event, we will be conducting several follow-up calls to keep you informed about the progress of the selected business to provide additional learning opportunities. So you'll be able to come into the board meetings. You'll be able to watch everything that's happening, the instructions that are given. And these calls will enable you to gain insights to valuable lessons, regardless of whether your business is chosen or not. Now think about, where are you going to find this anywhere? I don't know of this anywhere. So the principles and methods we discuss during the events can be applied in any business venture you embark upon this future. Think about that. You'll have a live living example that you'll be able to use what's being shared in these calls as they continue beyond the event, and you can apply it to your own business. And then he goes further. I want every attendee to view this event as a stepping stone in their entrepreneurial journey, a chance to acquire knowledge, connect with the like-minded individuals, and apply the principles and strategies learned to their own business. Remember, success in entrepreneurship comes from continued learning, adaptability, and perseverance. That beautiful set of paragraphs right there alone should set you on fire. If you're not ready, if it doesn't set you on fire, it doesn't mean anything bad. It just means you're just not ready for it. But those of you who are ready will understand the significance of that. So the whole point is take action. Don't let this go by. You know, this is something that can literally change your life in a very short period of time if you use it. And again, that's the key. It's if you use it. Now, if you want to look at the terms and conditions at the bottom of the page, you'll see that the terms and conditions are there. If you can scroll down to the bottom, Phil, real quick, all the way down to the end. Terms and conditions are there to explain everything, and it's crystal clear and beautiful. If you click the plus button there, it'll expand and show all the terms and conditions about everything that's there. All right?
Beauty. I really like scrolling up to the top. Hang on. I'm looking at the go. Because once you go to Win with Ramy,
yes,
there are other links at the top that are relevant to what you're talking about.
Yeah. This is cool. See, at the top of the page there's a direct link that goes to the YouTube page, right? Where you can watch all the videos. See, boom, it just goes straight there. And you can watch the videos, access it. Think about it. It's just boom, you can just go straight there. Now, if you go back to the other page, go back to the page there. There's also a register for Win with Ramy. Register, enter your information so you'll be notified about when we're having calls and stuff like that. And by the way, there's 2 different places that you can access, actually 3 different places that you can access all these calls. There's there on YouTube. It's also there on Facebook, and it's also in the back office where we've also placed these videos as well. You can watch them at any of these places you want to. We've made it really easy for you. Okay.
That's
So
awesome.
by all means, act on this.
Absolutely. So the URL is right there in the bottom, and my mouse won't go where I need it to go. It's broke. I'm broke.
Oh, push back, and then it'll
No,
go.
I won't. I'll tell you offline what's going on.
Okay.
It's my system.
Okay.
Wow, that's a lot of great stuff.
Yeah.
That's a lot of great stuff. And I made a committed decision when I first heard about it. I can't wait till September getting there. I have a partner coming with me with a second ticket. And you said one person's going to win. I want to say that's one's going to win the business.
The big thing, but everyone's going to win in general.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all going to be winners. Just
that's right. Everyone wins at this event, no matter what. I mean, if you just think alone in terms of the practicality, and think about how awesome it is that every single one who goes here who has a ticket is going to have access to how Ramy thinks as he's engaging with guiding the, I guess you say, winner and the board of the company towards succeeding in business. And that's really awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, you can't lose. Well, like you said, if it doesn't speak to you, you're not ready for it. That's okay, right?
Yeah.
But if you're sitting on the fence, you can't lose. You're going to have a weekend in LA. You're going to be able to hang out with Troy. You're going to be able to hang out with Ramy and some other people. The energy, the vibration level just alone, whether your business gets picked or not, doesn't matter.
Well, check this out. You know where the event's happening? It's happening at his house.
Yes.
You're going to go to his house. Those of you who come, you're going to be hanging out at his house. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. Yes, I was. So I was trying to I acted on one of the principles. High achieving people, according to the study of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, of the 500 people that he interviewed, they had a common trait. They made up their minds quickly and they changed it slowly. The other side of that, low achieving people who haven't quite reached their goals tend to waffle and don't make up their mind quickly, and they change it frequently.
Yes.
So amazing. I was aspiring to be on the other side of that this time around.
Yeah. This is so beautiful. I love your example, Phil. You're such a beautiful example of taking action, having belief, and using the information. And I got to give you some big kudos, my friend, because it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to experience it with you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I want to thank you for giving us your time to share this with whoever's listening today, tomorrow, or the future. So we can help people find out about this and join us in LA, in his home.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun, and a lot of people, everyone who goes there, they're going to make a lot of really great friends. You know what's interesting? In one of the calls, one of the recent ones, actually it was 2 weeks ago. It actually that call happened a year after the last event, and it was so awesome to hear in that call how many lives were changed because they attended the event. I was one of them. I was there. And you know, what's interesting is when I was at that event, I was like sitting there, oh my gosh, I'm going to be working with you. I'm working with you. I didn't even, I was just like, I didn't know how it was going to happen. But then now look at what's happening right now. And these types of things can happen for every single one of you if you'll just make a committed decision and fall in love with that version of you and give that life.
Wasn't there somebody else with an Irish accent that made a committed decision and her life changed because I believe she was also at that same event?
Oh yeah, Cleona.
Yeah,
Cleona Harris. She did that as well, and she ended up starting the Napoleon Hill Institute. That's good. It's fantastic. A lot of things changed from that. There's a lot of people who, again, they made beautiful changes, and I think it's amazing. See, again, it ultimately comes down to making a decision, and once you make the decision, once you fuse with the idea, then what starts to happen is the outer world starts to shift. All the plots, plans, dramas, and situations literally take place right before your eyes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting Tammy and you and others. But
Yeah, amazing.
Last comment. Thank you to you, Troy. Well done. You did this as well as you do all of the other shows that for the most part, I sat and listened and took notes. I didn't come up and get on video camera.
That's good.
Until the last day. And then I made a comment, and that was it.
Yeah. Awesome, my friend. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate this. You're magnificent. Your heart is beautiful. And I'm looking forward to a big hug from you.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I'm looking forward to that too. What a great show. I'm going to wrap it up now and put you back in the green room for a temporary. Okay. And we'll be back here shortly myself. So a lot of great information that Troy shared with you. Yes, I did jump in. I believe that this is something, it's an experiment that if it resonates with you, if you're sitting on the fence, get off the fence, jump in. And remember, I'm going to share something that I share often. Just go find it. It's right here. You are wonderful. You is representing your uniqueness and you. So continue to be your wonderful self. If this speaks to you to want to be with us in LA, that's fantastic. But it's not quite ready for you yet. That's okay too. And the last comment goes to, oh, there we go. Thank you, Carla. Much appreciated. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Carla. And I got to put the hearts up. Look at this. I'm putting those up just so feedback for you, Troy. Anyway, that's a wrap. We'll see you on the other side of the Business Renovator. The next one up and coming, actually Monday on the 24th, we're having a panel of a number of different people. So if you want to figure out what we're going to be talking about there, come and hang out with us. We're happy to have you there. So let's just wrap this up real quick.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking